But right now,
So
we're going to talk about the Vanity Fair article that was published. Is it fair or unfair? Look,
yeah.
I saw those pictures and I was like, holy crap, man. But then I looked up the photographer and this is his style. He photographs
Yes.
everybody like this. So I was like, well, they should have researched the photographer.
Well, I don't think they get to choose the photographer. I think the editor, Mark Guiducci, who's the new editor of Vanity Fair,
Yeah.
and he had hired and now has fired Olivia Nuzzi.
Oh, yeah.
Nuzzi.
I could not look her in the face ever again after reading some of the excerpts from that book. Like, who told, who wrote that book and was like, this is what the American people want to know. They want to know about RFK Jr.'s sex habits and weird thoughts.
Well, the thing is, it's like she withheld so much information in the book and she didn't withhold anything embarrassed. Like she didn't withhold anything that like made her look good. Good. Yeah.
I'm
But I
like,
think
you
she
made
had
it
to put
1,000 times
some
worse.
things in. I just think none of it is. I think it's just all very embarrassing. But let's talk about the photos.
Okay, Vanity Fair.
The photos and the article.
Yeah.
The photos are grotesque. That's like the only word I can use to describe them. They perfectly capture their subjects. What's up with? Did Caroline Leavitt get her lips done the day before, or is that
Probably.
like what's going on? It looks like they all are. It's like when the dermatologist wants to show you what your skin damage is.
Well, it's not even just the Carol. I'm going to show you the pictures that I think are just the craziest ones. It's not even just the Caroline Leavitt lip photo that is very clear and so interface and also hate ages you, man. But it's stuff like this, like Marco Rubio just staring at a lamp. And that's the picture.
You know what that reminds me of? Okay, in the
like what is going on here?
Okay, in the pilot of Succession, Logan Roy pees all over the floor because he's old. He like gets out of bed and he pees on the floor. That's what that looks like.
Just he looks lost.
He is lost.
And just sort of like the way he's leaning forward is strange. I mean, this is art.
Look, person is an incredible photographer. You can really tell what he thinks about the people he's photographing.
Yes, and
he's able to capture like the essence of their dilemma.
He describes Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller's gaze is like a laser beam, and his calculated manner of speaking made me think of Hal from 2001: A Space Odyssey. We photographed him in front of a painting of Native Americans crossing the river Palette by Worthington Village. But I mean, just everything about them, I think it shows, sometimes photography can be brutal because it shows who you are.
Yeah. And those are some bad. I mean, okay, obviously I know why they let them in because they want,
they thought it would be cool.
They thought it would be cool. I don't know why they thought it would be cool. But I guess they sort of like crave that. Then they want attention. And I don't know, like
this one.
That one, I was like, oh my God.
That painting is from Walmart. It's $12 on Walmart. I looked it up.
Are you serious?
Yes.
What's with the American flag blanket?
I don't
know. Is that
know.
in the White House? Is that her office?
This is in the White House. This is in her office. It's the only office with a working fireplace that she has a uniformed guard come and light for her every day.
She can't light her own fire?
I guess not. They call her the mouthpiece. They call him the zealot. I mean, he looks so tired and sad and very much like Goebbels.
That was very clearly the inspo for that.
Even with the black and white, I thought that was intentional, that his black and white was to draw even more parallel to what we've
and
saw.
Marco Rubio's was in black and white, too.
At the Nuremberg trials. Well, some of them look like mugshots were things that people said. And I was like, maybe that's a guilty man. That's a man who is insecure with what he's doing and like pensive about, he knows he's making mistakes or he's making bad choices.
Yeah.
It's just,
What did you think of the Susie Wiles photo? Because she just looks like a deer caught in the headlights.
Like just absolutely smelled of fart, which is kind of how he looks all the time.
Ugh. He looks like
yeah.
He's really a demon. I'm more like, he concerns me because he is coming up next. Yeah. So she looks like a deer in the headlights. And she also gave a big interview to Vanity Fair. So tell me
Caroline
what
is trying to say is fake news. She's like, that's not real. And they're like, we literally have it recorded. This is what she said to us. What do you think? We just made this up and published it? Like,
Well, she's trying to say it was like taken out of context.
What would the context be to say I'm not an enabler? I'm also not a bitch. I try to be thoughtful about what I engage in. I guess time will tell whether I've been effective. Like, okay, I guess you haven't.
I don't
Some of
think
the
that
things
that's anything that groundbreaking, what the things you just said. Well, okay, I didn't have a chance to read her interview yet. Will
I
you tell
read the
me?
interview, and the thing is, I think, okay, when you do an interview, you sort of go into it knowing if this is a friendly or if it's not. You have a certain narrative and way you want to present yourself. And I think they wanted to be liked by Vanity Fair. I think it is very clear that they wanted the photographer to think they were cool, that they wanted to present they wanted to be perceived as cool. And there is nothing less cool than trying to be cool, especially with a reporter and photographer. And Christopher Anderson has literally photographed the war in Iraq. And so like he's not like some pushover entertainment guy. He's a real photojournalist. So with Susie Wiles, she said that she treats Trump like he has the personality of an alcoholic. Like that's the best way to describe it. And I thought that made sense. There's a certain level of like narcissism and self-destruction and self-indulgence that is unchecked with somebody who is, an alcoholic. There's problems with that. And I was like, you know what? But if she is putting it in terms of Trump's thinking pattern is that of an alcoholic, well, there's also a lot of forgiveness and a lot of grace and a lot of like working around an alcoholic that happens. And I was like, okay, so it's not just his aggressive, sort of belligerent nature. It's also the way that we treat alcoholics in our family or at our job is often to work around them and to make excuses for them and to cover for them. And so that's what I heard.
That's okay. The thing is, like, yeah, that could have been said in 2017. Like in
Yeah.
March of 2017, like everyone knew that. Everyone knew that in 2016 that that's how he was. I'm just very okay. That's not news. Okay, someone texted me asked me what I think the point of Susie Wiles doing this is if she's trying to get fired. I don't think she's trying to get
No,
fired. Is she trying to make it like I feel like this is almost I hate to be like a distraction, but I feel like they just do it cuz they know people will talk about it and it plays into uh chattering and they like don't care. Like she said that he was basically troll. I know I saw that she had said that he
trolling.
was trolling people by saying he's going to run for 2028. And okay,
I
okay,
don't know.
like that's insane. Okay, you're saying that yeah, I'll work for this man.
The
So
thing that I think is interesting about her is she talks about when she met Trump years before he ran for president. And her father is Pat Summerall, which, like, I don't know who that is.
yeah,
Who is that?
football
Football guy.
player.
And that Trump was
Yeah,
like really taken by the fact that he was speaking to Pat Summerall's daughter. And like he was
yeah.
really overwhelmed by her. So I think she plays up on that and maybe likes a little bit of that, uses that to her advantage. And so but then she also said that after when the polling was coming out ahead of 2020 or 2024, whatever it was, the most recent election. And
24.
he was basically screaming at her for an hour and a half in front of his cronies about how she hadn't done enough to help him win Florida, and she was a piece of shit and everything. And she said she was
Yeah, because she
stunned.
worked for DeSantis.
Right. She was stunned by how embarrassed and how scared she was by this interaction, but she continued to work for him anyway. So I don't know what you want me to do with that. Is this you excusing his thinking as like that of an alcoholic? I'm sorry, I hit you, baby. It will never happen again. But I didn't think that played well for her. She says that JD Vance's flip from MAGA to being from a never Trumper to MAGA was purely political and that he will do and say whatever it takes to be the heir apparent. And she thinks that he will win the 2028 nomination.
I
She said,
disagree.
I don't think so either. I don't think he's very
I
likable, and
think
I don't think
Ivanka Trump is going to be the nominee.
and she's the only one that it could be that could carry on a Trump kind of situation and that could continue to cover for their crimes. She said that Elon Musk is an extremely odd person. She did not enjoy him. He's
No.
extremely odd and unusual, and that he microdoses Hitler, Stalin, and Mao, and
I
like
thought you were going
that's
to say
his
ketamine.
ideology. He also microdoses ketamine, I'm sure, but that he microdoses these like authoritarians and that's gross. What'd she say about Stephen Miller? I don't remember exactly.
The
It was like
zealot.
whatever, the zealot, that he's a zealot for the right wing and he's just like crazy. Um, and then she said that the photographer would no longer be able to visit and photograph the Rose Garden or the Presidential Walk of Fame that he created on the Colonnade because those spaces are very special to the president, and they are his spaces. To which the photographer was like, no, they're not. Like, they're not his spaces. This is the American people's house. The president does not own a space here. But they didn't let him photograph those two spaces.
The photographer also, that Christopher Anderson, he also, photographed that's his style of photography in general.
Right.
So it's not like he was trying to give them like a bad, rap or anything.
No, he will photograph you raw and up close like that, and that's what they look like. That's what I said in my video earlier. I was like, it's not that he tried to make them look ugly. They are ugly. And I don't mean in a physical attractiveness way. I mean, as a person, they are doing ugly things. And that ugliness is going to come forward, especially if you were a person who is self-conscious about the photographer and the magazine outlet coming in, and you so badly want to look cool. Because they mentioned that Vanity Fair has done iconic photography in the West Wing in the past, including for President Reagan and different kind of stuff. He's been on their cover multiple times. And I think that they really do believe that they are the cultural trendsetters and that this was going to be a great opportunity for them. And they showed who they are truthfully, in my mind.
It's funny that them thinking that Vanity Fair is like the be all end all now is also so emblematic of them being cut in the 80s, like stuck in the 80s. Like, of course, he thinks that that's like the arbiter of cool now. But like, to your point about their character, Trump is showing this with everything that he's done since Rob Reiner died. And I'm seeing that it's like really not going over well with even conservatives, like even like Nick Fuentes. I mean, whatever. Nick Fuentes is like a critic of his now, but it's just generally
sick of that
not.
Too, though. They're making Nick Fuentes. I mean, people are making Nick Fuentes a new celebrity. Like, they just are.
They are. I don't know why I even mentioned him first now, but there's a lot of people, like just even random Republicans, who are saying that this is no good, which whatever, they're still going to vote for him. They're still going to do his shit. But the fact that they feel like they're emboldened enough to be able to say something is, I think, important. And I was thinking about how, like, I wonder if there's something to the fact that like Rob Reiner's movies depict America as it was great. And so people think of Rob Reiner as like the creator of those worlds, like the creator of that great American image. And so when he attacks him after he was just murdered in a very brutal fashion in such a way, like there's something where people are like, ooh, not my nostalgia.
Right. Not my nostalgia is exactly right. Also found it interesting that Michelle Singer Reiner was the one who did the photograph of Donald Trump for the cover of The Art of the Deal.
Oh, yeah.
He knows her. That's extra disgusting. And, back in the 80s, or when this book came out, it was a totally different time, right? And it's a flattering photo of him. I mean, it's not a bad picture of him. He picked it, but whoever his publisher was also picked her to be the photographer. So, like, for him to be so incredibly disgusting and vile about somebody who very much was a part of helping build his public image,
what a photo can do.
Years ago.
Just ask Vanity Fair.
But that's the thing, is like, you knew her to be so vile. You knew this woman. This is not some rando that you didn't know. You know this person. Well, and I think he's very jealous of Rob Reiner being in his age demographic and being beloved and being, like you said, the creator of American nostalgia. And he wishes he had that. And he doesn't like when people talk about somebody that's not him. So even though he threw his little tantrum, what happened? Everybody started talking about what Trump said about him, as opposed to, going through the proper grieving process for Rob Reiner. He did steal the attention from what was duly owed to him.
But I think it does sort of elevate Rob Reiner even more.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, okay, a lot of people, if this happened to someone who had less of a filmography, the most memorable thing would be about how they died. But I actually don't think that that's like core to what people will remember about Rob Reiner. Like, I think that's like one anecdote among many, like starting with the fact that he's like was Hollywood royalty. Like, there's so many, his life was a movie. Like, there were so many interesting parts about this guy. He was a mensch. He and his wife
He goes
were
all
like,
the way back to All in the Family, and like he was so beloved from there. something that my mom said that I thought was interesting is she was disgusted by what Trump said. And this is my boomer mom in Florida, right? So she's my barometer for what's going on down near the villages. She was like, I don't like what he said. But what I especially don't like is, Rob really tried so hard with that son, and he really was so gentle. And to have his son turn on him, I can't think of a greater heartbreak. And, we struggled with you guys sometimes. And I just can't imagine what he must have felt when that was happening. This is personal to people, this idea of being taken by your own child and how hard parents work and how prevalent mental illness and drug addiction has become. And I think that really hit people too, that the love he had unconditionally for his son to die at his son's hand is just so hard to imagine.
I think you're absolutely right, because whether or not people have dealt with that specific situation or the fear of that specific situation, there is something I think everyone can understand about when you have just someone who is beyond help, and it's not because they're evil, and
Right.
it's just a bad sickness. And I think people can relate to that, and they don't want to mock that.
No, and
And
his
Rob
other
Reiner was not
children
someone. Oh,
being the one, the daughter lived
yeah.
across the street, being the one to come over, her not knowing what to do and calling Billy Crystal another American icon as far as
Yeah.
really makes us feel good about things. And you're like, oh my God. Was it Steve Martin and Billy Crystal that were there? It was somebody else who was
I
quite
think it
famous. I know
was.
Billy Crystal and someone else. But either way, it was another trustworthy adult that's non-problematic that we care about. And you just picture this whole thing going on and you're like, oh my God, my heart. It's just so tragic.
Right, and,
So,
to mock that,
it's
especially
just
when
sick.
Rob Reiner himself was such a mensch, and
Yeah.
he never, traded in that. He always stood up for people, and he was just, he's just such a great guy, and it's why did Trump outlive this man?
I
It's
know. And
just.
I just want to recognize PJ in the comments here, telling his story even of losing his son, unfortunately, to addiction. And it's such
Yeah.
a it's such a devastatingly common and difficult thing. And for him to mock that is one, I think he's disgusting, but also just shows how far apart he is from the average American's experience and what we're
Yes.
valuing and what we're dealing with in our families. And it's just impossible.
Well, no, Donald Trump is not actually far from this. But what happened
No,
in Donald Trump's family when someone was dealing with addiction is that they shunned them and basically just emotionally abused them till they died, and
right.
then disowned their family and did a whole set of other terrible things to their family
Hmm.
financially, legally, medically. And
Annihilated
so
them.
that's
Hmm.
what they do. That's what
Yeah.
the Trump family does. Other people see that as beyond the pale and disgusting. And I also think there's something to the idea that they did every single thing. The Reiners did every single thing they could to help their
To help
son.
him.
And it shows that no matter what you have, no matter how many connections, resources, no matter what, it is an illness like cancer or
Right.
anything else that could kill you.
Right.
And it's just
He's
so.
lucky that they got money and that his son can be doing all this cocaine and not getting tainted fentanyl cocaine because he's on the street somewhere. Because Donald Trump, to that point, could be very much in the same situation of so many people whose,
Yeah.
kids just, you get one bad something. And it's people do their very first time they ever do a drug at a party or with a friend and they die of an overdose because of just this epidemic of tainted drugs and things that are going on in the world. And it's so front of mind for so many Americans, and for him to be this callous is disgusting. But I do want to go back to
Wait,
the Vanity Fair thing.
did you see that Don Jr. got engaged?
Of course he did, because the Epstein files are supposed to come out Friday. Do you see how scared Don Jr. looks announcing his engagement?
Yeah, he
Because he's like,
doesn't look.
yeah, we're engaged now. He just broke up with Guilfoyle like a friggin' minute ago.
Yeah, and sent her off to Greece.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with that whole situation. Yeah, because they need Don Jr. to be married to somebody that Donald Trump thinks is good enough. So they gave him the $650 million Pentagon contract, set him up. I bet she did say yes. I mean, he just got $650 million from the friggin' Pentagon. So
Maybe she
that
said,
whole thing is a whole
please.
other, that's a whole other whack day that
I
we'll
think
do.
she wanted to be in.
Oh, sure she does. Why wouldn't she?
Not more
Speaking of
than he
wanting to
wanted
be
to
in,
be
let's go back to
married.
Caroline for a quick second.
Yeah,
Caroline for
let's do
one
that.
quick, or she's pregnant. There could be many things here, but
Oh,
either
there's
way.
that. There's that.
Caroline Leavitt, when she was photographed, the reporter said that her decor was giving live, laugh, lie with a flag and pumpkin pillows and a Stanley Cup on her desk, a pink calendar with daily affirmations, and framed photos of the president with Leavitt and her family, and a white orchid and a pink globe and a Bible open to Proverbs 4, get wisdom at all costs. And I'm like, oh, Jesus.
That really embodies Caroline Leavitt.
They're just not serious people. And in our last 5 minutes.
It just sounds like she wants to have like a little bit of the holiday decoration from Home Goods from every season. Like you have your 4th of July, you have your pumpkin, you have your Halloween, so.
These people are uncreative and unoriginal. You have access to like big girl money, and truly the Smithsonian would send you pictures for your West Wing office if you wanted to have a $12 Walmart thing up. I know. It's
better.
I know.
Don't tell them.
There's nothing left. It's all been hoarded into the Oval Office. Maybe there were portraits in the press secretary's office, and now those have been anything in a gold frame. Gone. Gone.
Disgusting.
They are crazy and disgusting. The thing I take away from this Vanity Fair.
I just want to ask, how would you decorate? Like, what style would you decorate the Oval Office
like
in
this?
If you could?
Literally, like.
Well, okay, if you could, if you could get from anywhere, what would you do?
I think Biden had a real classy Oval Office, honestly. I think he had good intentions with the art that he chose and the portraits that he hung and what mattered to him. And I think he had a good, classy Oval Office.
I think
in the time that I was in there, I enjoyed it. I thought it was respectful of the office, but it was bright. I thought that Obama's office was a little bit more like less decorated in some ways. And I thought Biden's had a little bit more whimsy, if that makes sense. Obama's was serious. Obama's like a masculine, mahogany, sexy, serious, like stripes,
those stripes,
bold. And I thought Biden's was a little bit more visiting a whimsical grandpa. And I think it's probably why I liked it.
I like Biden's a little more, but one thing I would do that Obama did is that he has a light carpet. And if I were there, I would take advantage of the fact that like they're going to clean that every day anyway. And I would get a light carpet because that would be cool. It won't suck up all the light. That I think is very important. I would get a lot of greenery. Because there's like someone to water it.
On the mantle.
There's someone to water it.
Flowers. You get.
I would have no gold. No gold.
No gold. No, if anything, like here or there where it already existed, but I don't think I think a gold pen goes far enough. Like I don't think you need, because you got the challenge coins and stuff. Those are typically gold, little touches of it, but not gaudy. No.
I'm not going to have like anything in a gold frame.
No. It's not necessary. It's so beautiful and grand and interesting as it is. Like you want to be able to talk about the things that are around.
I would also bring like a lot of cool Americana in.
Yes.
Like maybe some rocks from the Grand Canyon.
Stuff like that'd be cool.
Like something cool.
Well, Biden had a moon rock.
He did?
Where he had all the pictures. He had a picture. He had like a little piece of the moon rock over there, which I thought was really cool. That was cool. Stuff like that is interesting. Yeah, something you could talk about. He had a little story about all the things in there. It made you feel like you were visiting somebody's home.
Right. Hey, ever seen a rock from the moon?
Seen a moon rock? Yeah. I mean, that was cool. That was pretty cool. Definitely Resolute desk. Maybe someday we will get the pictures of me under the Resolute desk. Maybe not. The National Archive did take a picture. They told me I could have it when he dies or leaves office. So I guess they're waiting till he dies. They were like,
they're busy.
Cannot have this. They're busy. But they're, the whole like being under the president's desk is going to bring up a lot of comments. I was like, oh, right. But Biden was standing up clearly on the other side of it doing like a ta-da move. So I hope I get it someday because it is very whimsical and fun.
I'm never going to think of it any other way now. Sorry.
Well, I have to tell you why I would never have gold curtains. This goes back to my childhood. Okay. So this is like a total side story, but for fun. I would never have gold curtains because when I was a kid, the richest man in our town ran a series of dry cleaners. And he had these nephews who were like very ne'er-do-well nephews who also helped run this dry cleaning business. And my mom and my grandma worked there when I was little. And so I grew up in this dry cleaning business. And one time, the owner, Mr. Simonetti, went out of town and he let his nephews stay at the house, water his plants, and do things. And one of the nephews had an affair with one of the girls who worked at the dry cleaners. And he came back, when Mr. Simonetti came back and he tried to fire this girl because he didn't want like his wife to find out, this ne'er-do-well nephew, about it. And I remember I was like ticking shirts in the back, I was 11 overhearing this.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, wouldn't it? I bet, well, you can fire me, but I bet Mr. Simonetti would be so interested to know how beautiful I thought the gold drapes in his bedroom were." And I remember my mom's face being like, why were you in Mr. Simonetti's bedroom? And she did not get fired. And I loved this girl she was like, the first time you meet an older girl who's really cool and you're like, oh my God, you're so dangerous and cool. That was Jennifer Owens to me.
Don't tell.
She's passed away now. She's passed away now. But she's an icon and a legacy. But I would never, every single time I see gold curtains anywhere, I think,
yeah, no, I'm okay. Well, now I'm gonna think that. What color curtains would you have?
I don't know, maybe like a nice blue, like a nice stately slate blue or something.
In my office at home, in my office, I have denim curtains, which I think
that would be nice. See, that'd be fun.
It's a little unserious for the president.
Well, although, what about like having Ralph Lauren come in and do it or something? I mean, that would
that is probably who I would ask to design my Oval Office.
Yeah.
This is fun. I mean,
I love it. Well, we'll come back and dream more about it. I've got to go to this other meeting now, and then
enjoy.
That's it.
And then we'll be back another time. We just had to get these things off our chest.
I needed to speak to somebody about the Vanity Fair stuff. I couldn't even handle it. Okay.
Yeah, I need to go read the entire thing. All right. Goodbye, everyone.